The desperate descent, the red sky above the planet, bleeding into swirls of black, was the last thing Lieutenant Anna Reyes saw before alarms ripped through the human scout ship Auriga. Sparks showered the cockpit as the control panel blinked, warnings. Anna's heart hammered, but she forced her hands steady on the guidance stick. Beside her, engineer Mark Evans worked frantically at a failing console, fingers flying over touch keys. Power core is spiking, Mark warned. Voice. Tight. We've lost thrusters on both port engines. Anna swallowed. Initiate emergency descent protocol, she ordered, twisting a dial. The automated system groaned, but nothing stopped the ship's rapid downward plunge. Below, a jagged sea of black rock stretched to the horizon. The planet's surface was scarred by deep canyons and spires of obsidian. Atmospheric readings had called it a death world, a place where no life could possibly thrive. But hope of finding hidden ruins or salvageable artifacts had driven this mission, and now it meant nothing. Inside the cabin, medic Liam Patel winced as a tremor shook him against his seatbelt. His normally calm face was pale. Seat restraints failing, he said. Section C bulkhead. The warning cut off as a violent shudder jolted the ship. Fire flickered along a loose wire overhead. Two other crew members, pilot Tara Lewis and technician Cole Grant, clutched their harnesses. Tara's knuckles went white as she gripped her armrest. Cole gasped every time the lights flickered out. Anna's jaw clenched. She slammed her palm on the crash beacon button, then fought to maintain some control. "Brace for impact!" she shouted. Seconds later, the Auriga smashed into the ground. A deafening roar filled every compartment. Glass shattered, metal bent, and the ship skidded across the obsidian plain, leaving a trail of sparks and smoke. The world outside fractured into shards of red lightning as the vessel twisted one final time and came to rest in a cloud of dust. Silence followed. The only sound was the hiss of releasing air and the distant rumble of trembling rock. Tense for a moment that lasted a lifetime, the 5 survivors gripped whatever they could. Then Anna forced herself to move. She undid her seatbelt, every joint screaming in protest. The gust of hot, acrid air hit her face as she pushed open the cockpit door. Her boots touched broken metal and scattered debris. Through the haze, she saw the jagged terrain stretching under twin moons, one pale and the other blood red. "Report!" Anna called over the echo of settling wreckage. Mark emerged next, limping as he held a charred toolkit. His visor was cracked. "Life support is down," he said, voice rough. "We've got 30 minutes before CO2 hits critical." Anna nodded, fighting nausea. She looked at Liam, who was checking a small injury on Cole's arm. "Tara?" From the rear, Tara's voice came weakly. "I'm alive," she said, voice shaking. "Got a busted rib, but I can walk." Cole stood, brushing rock dust from his uniform. "Minor concussion," he added. "Good to go." Anna counted heads. 5. Not enough for a rescue beacon to spot quickly. The Auriga's distress signals would echo into space, but rescue might take weeks, if it came at all. She turned toward the eastern ridge where sensors had picked up faint thermal readings before the crash. A glint of movement, or perhaps of hope, had registered. Now it was their only chance. "Come on," Anna said. "Stay close and stay quiet. We move at first light." They gathered supplies, a handful of rations, 2 portable water packs, the last medgel canister, and a pair of compact stun rifles. Anna slung one over her shoulder, took a small comm unit, and led the group down the ship's exit ramp, each step coated in fine black dust. As they tramped across the dead ground, the planet's chill night breeze cut through their suits. The Maro, blood-red moon hung low, casting long, inky shadows that danced with each tremor. The survivors pressed forward in single file, but they were not alone. From the darkness of a rocky outcrop, pale shapes watched. The aliens, tall and slender with skin like polished ivory, peered through glowing eyes. They spoke in soft clicks and whispers that echoed in Anna's mind like distant thunder. These were the Rill, a species whose world was thought lifeless. The Rill had long abandoned hope on this death world, hiding underground to avoid the planet's relentless storms. A single young Rill scout, no larger than a child, stepped forward, clutching a thin rod of bioluminescent crystal. The crystal glowed with a faint blue light, illuminating the scout's delicate features. Fear trembled in its luminous eyes. Anna froze and raised her open palms to show she meant no harm. Mark lowered his weapon slowly, trusting Anna's lead. The scout tilted its head as if measuring their intent. Time stretched as two worlds met under fractured moons and broken skies. Joan felt a spark of something new, an ancient instinct to survive and to look for connection, even on the most desolate frontier. In that silent moment, Anna realized that their crash might have meant doom, but it also held a spark of something far more powerful. Hope. End of Part 1. Approx. 770 words. First contact in the dark. Anna led her small team away from the wreckage, each step crunching, over shards of black rock. The twin moons cast weak light, but far ahead flickering glows marked signs of life. The air grew colder and thinner. Every breath tasted of ash. "Tara, Liam, close up," Anna whispered. "Stay behind cover." Tara Lewis, clutching her side, moved to Anna's left. Mark Evans and Cole Grant flanked her right. Medic Liam Patel brought up the rear, eyes scanning for threats. Anna carried the handheld scanner, which still emitted weak pulses toward the glowing lights. As they neared a cluster of jagged boulders, shapes emerged, tall and slender figures clothed in simple robes of woven fungus fibers. Their skin shimmered, pale gray under the moons. Thin limbs ended in three-fingered hands. Their heads were narrow, with luminous eyes set wide apart. Mark froze. Alien life. I thought this world was dead. Anna nodded, heart pounding. Remember, we don't know their intent. She raised the scanner and waved it in slow arcs, showing curiosity, not aggression. One alien stepped forward, carrying a long staff tipped with a crystal that pulsed soft blue light. The crystal's glow reflected in the alien's eyes. A low came from the staff like wind through reeds. Anna lowered her stun rifle. "We come in peace," she said clearly, voice soft but firm. The alien paused and cocked its head. In a faint, clicking language, it spoke something Anna did not understand. Its tone was cautious, almost trembling. Behind Anna, Tara whispered, "Are they going to attack?" Anna held up a hand to calm her. Then she pointed to herself and said, "Anna Reyes," touching the name tag on her uniform. Next, she pointed to Mark and said, "Mark Evans," then to Cole Grant, finally to Liam Patel, and to Tara Lewis. The alien watched each gesture, its crystal staff light pulsing faster. After a long moment, it pressed the staff tip against the ground. The crystal's pulse slowed and glowed steady. Anna guessed this was an invitation. She nodded and stepped forward, not too fast, hands open. The alien led them between two giant boulders into a hidden canyon. The walls glowed with patches of bioluminescent fungi, green and purple motes lighting the path. Cool water trickled along a narrow stream at their feet. Cole bent down to cup a handful of water. "It's clean," he said, tasting it. "No. Toxins." The alien spoke again in clicks and warbles. Anna shook her head. "I don't understand," she admitted. Then she tapped her ear, pointed at her throat, and made a question face. The alien's luminous eyes widened. It raised the staff high, and from farther back, more aliens emerged, some bearing woven baskets, others carrying small, frail creatures, with feathery wings folded like broken fans. Anna glanced at the creatures. They looked half alive, half dying, skin drawn tight over bones, eyes dull. Clearly, this species had little to feed them. One of the aliens, taller and older-looking, approached. Its crystal staff was crowned with a wider gem that shimmered deeper blue. The staff-bearer from before bowed its head to the elder. Then the elder fixed its gaze on Anna and spoke in clicks louder and slower, tonal as if speaking words rather than sounds. Anna closed her eyes and listened, searching for patterns. After a moment, she said, "We crash ship." She pointed back the way they came. Crash ship. Then she tapped her own chest. Alive. The elder alien's head tilted. It reached into a basket and withdrew a small device made of bone and fungus. It held it out. It looked broken, but Anna sensed it was an offering. Mark stepped forward to examine it. "Some kind of radio?" he murmured. The elder clicked and pointed at the device, then tapped its own staff. Anna smiled and held up the comm unit from her belt. The small alien eyes widened. It accepted the gesture and gently took the human comm, placing it into the basket. "Good," Anna said. "Help!" She mimed a bandage on her arm for Tara and pointed to the creatures. "Save life." The alien elder nodded solemnly and tapped Cole's arm. "Follow." It turned and led them deeper into the grotto. The passage widened into a great chamber carved from volcanic rock. Hundreds of rill, Anna thought that must be their name, gathered in hushed clusters around fires made from glowing fungi logs. Their hollow song rose in low harmonies, a mournful tune that echoed off the walls. At the chamber's center lay a circle of the frail creatures. They were flanked by dozens of rill who watched over them. The glow of fungus lamps painted the chamber in emerald and violet light. Anna's breath caught. These creatures, the rill called them bio-weepers, were the last living beings on this death world, each one weak and clinging to life. The rill had saved these creatures, believing them sacred. But the creatures, numbers had dwindled until only a few remained. Anna knelt beside one bio-weeper. Its wings stirred like a dying flower. Carefully, she opened her medical pack and applied a small dose of med gel. The creature's chest rose, taking a deeper breath. A gentle glow returned to its pale skin. All around, the rill leaned forward, luminous eyes shining. The elder raised its staff in a slow arc, pulsing brighter. It was a gesture of thanks. Anna rose and looked at her team. Tara winced, but managed a small smile. Mark held the broken device, curiosity alight in his eyes. Liam stood back, tears in his eyes as he watched the creature stir. In the hush, Anna spoke softly. "We help. You help us." She pantomimed building shelter and pointed to the ship. Then she tapped the ground. "Home." The elder rill made a series of clicks, then placed a gentle hand on Anna's shoulder. In that touch, light as a breeze, Anna felt connection, a fragile bond bridged by compassion. Outside, the twin moons shone down on a world reborn by hope, two species reaching out in the dark, drawn together by their shared will to live. And for the first time since the crash, Anna felt that rescue might come not from the stars, but from these pale-eyed allies on a death world that was anything but dead. Hope's fragile spark dawn's pale light filtered through the fungus lamps. As Anna, Mark, Tara, Liam, and Cole settled into the rill grotto, the air smelled faintly sweet, like honey mixed with wet earth. Around them, the rill moved quietly, tending the last bio-weepers. Anna watched as Joran, the young scout, knelt beside a creature whose ribcage rose and fell with slow, shallow breaths. Mark crouched nearby, examining a broken panel salvaged from the Auriga. "This could be a power conduit," he said. "If I rewire it to the biolamp system, we might get steady light and heat down here." Anna nodded. "If we can help them, they can help us. We need that shelter." Joran looked up and clicked, softly, pointing at the panel and then at the glowing fungus lamps overhead. He beckoned Mark to follow him deeper into the grotto. Mark rose, toolkit in hand, and tapped his helmet light on. Anna and Tara exchanged hopeful glances. Meanwhile, Liam passed medgel to several Ryle who pressed their thin fingers onto injured wing membranes of the bio-weepers. The creatures stirred, wings quivering. A tremor shook the cave and a low moan of falling stone echoed from above. "Rockfall!" Anna shouted, grabbing Cole's arm. Together with Joran and two other Rill, they dashed toward the source. Stones rained down, striking the grotto's ceiling. One massive slab cracked and began to slide. Without thinking, Anna lunged forward and pushed the smallest real child out of the slab's path. The child tumbled, but was safe. A boulder smashed where she had stood. Dust and pebbles scattered. When the dust cleared, Anna saw Mark and Joran pulling at the fallen rock. Tara and Liam joined, digging with bare hands. The child's frantic cries spurred them faster. Moments later, Anna caught sight of a tiny hand waving from beneath the rubble. She shouted, "Hold on!" And together they heaved the stone aside. The child crawled free, clutching Anna's boot with trembling limbs. Anna scooped the alien into her arms. The child's soft click of relief echoed through the grotto. All real stopped their work and gathered around. The elder, Nara, stepped forward, staff in hand. Her crystal glowed brighter than ever. With slow, deliberate clicks, she placed her hand over Anna's heart and tapped the staff on the ground. A warm pulse of light rippled through the chamber. Anna felt a wash of calm. The reel began to hum in unison, a gentle, rising song of gratitude. Even the bio-weepers stirred, their frail bodies lifting as if they drew strength from the shared light. Mark ran back to where he had set up the panel and fungus lamp. With a few quick connections, the lamp flared to life, bathing the grotto in soft green light. The glow was steady, stronger than before. A chorus of Rill click-laughed in delight. Tara put a hand on Anna's shoulder. "We did it," she whispered. Anna looked around at the Rill faces, wide eyes shining with hope, and knew they had passed the greatest test of trust. Here, on a planet that should have been dead, humans and aliens had forged their fragile spark of friendship. Outside, the wind howled across jagged pinnacles, but inside the cave, warmth and light held back the darkness. And for the first time, since their crash, Anna dared to believe they could make this death world alive again. Building trust, facing terror, morning light filtered through the fungus lamps, revealing the full scope of the grotto's chamber. The humans awoke on simple beds of woven fungal fibers, the air now warm and steady. Anna stretched, feeling soreness in every muscle and hope in her chest. The Rill had prepared a thin broth of tuber-like roots, sweet and nourishing. They ate in quiet companionship, two species united by necessity. After breakfast, Anna gathered her team and Joran, the young scout who had saved the humans from the rockfall. She pointed to the ruined hull of the Auriga, visible through the cave's mouth. "We need machines, power, shelter," she said. Mark unfurled a crude diagram on a fungus tablet provided by the Rill. With Joran translating clicks into gestures, Mark explained his plan. Convert biolamp conduits into a geothermal heating network. Joran clicked thoughtfully and led them deeper, into the cave system. Walls narrowed and widened, lit by bioluminescent moss. Engineers and scouts worked side by side, clearing debris from an ancient tunnel that sloped toward the planet's heat vents. As Mark attached sensors to the rock, Liam and Tara carried fungus canisters overhead, guiding nutrients into the lamps. Cole stood guard near the entrance, stun rifle ready. Anna paced at his side, scanning the red-tinged sands outside. The planet's stillness felt heavy, as if something watched. Late in the afternoon, distant howls echoed across the plain. Anna's hand gripped her rifle. "Vor," she whispered, a name she had learned from the Rill for the winged predators eons old on this world. The Rill watchers stiffened. Joran clicked warnings. "They circle," he said, voice trembling. At Anna's nod, Cole fired a warning shot. The crack of the rifle echoed sharply. From the tunnel mouth, dozens of vor-winged creatures swooped low, their 6 legs sprawled and bat-like wings beating the hot air. Their red eyes glowed with hunger. Anna shouted, "Defend the line!" and took position beside Mark at the conduit control panel. Tara and Liam crouched behind stacked crates while Cole covered their flank. The Rill warriors formed a loose semicircle, crystalline staffs pointed like spears. The first vor dove. Its screech shattered the grotto's calm. Cole raised his rifle, firing a stun pulse that struck the beast's wing, slowing its dive. It tumbled but recovered, circling for another attack. Mark twisted a valve, sending a surge of glowing power through the conduit rods. Light flared along the tunnel walls, illuminating every crevice. Several Vor recoiled from the brightness. The Rill took advantage, stepping forward and thrusting staffs that crackled with energy. Anna joined Cole, firing precise shots that forced the Vor back. One creature lunged at Joran, talons outstretched, but Tara leaped forward, tackling it, into the wall. Together with Liam, they bound its legs with metallic ropes scavenged from the ship. The battle raged in bursts of light, shadow, and noise. Rocks dislodged, crashing around them as the Vor fought to break through. Yet the combined human-Rill line held firm. Anna's heart pounded, but she never faltered. Every shot, every click of a Rill staff sent clear messages. We fight together. Finally, a deafening screech signaled the Vor retreat. The survivors hissed away into the evening sky, wings beating dust into the air. Silence settled again, broken only by heavy breathing. Anna lowered her rifle, chest heaving. Around her, the team cheered softly. Joran clapped her shoulder, clicking, in delight. Mark wiped sweat from his brow, turning the conduit valve to secure. Warm steam hissed through the newly connected pipes, filling the chamber with comforting heat. Liam rushed to the small clinic area, checking wounded Rel and humans. Tara winced but waved off concern, grinning broadly. Even Cole allowed himself a small smile. Anna surveyed the scene. Flickering fungus lamps now steady, geothermal vents glowing in the tunnel, humans and Rill working side by side. Fear and distrust lay broken in the dust. She raised her voice so all could hear. This is our home now together. We'll finish the repairs and we'll drive the Vor away for good. A wave of clicking greetings and cheers rose around her. The Rill's trust had been earned by shared danger, and hope burned brighter than any lamp. On this death world, life had found a way, and in unity, they would bring its full promise to light. Battle on the barren. Plain, under the glow of the twin moons, Anna led the humans and Rill out of the grotto toward the shattered hull of the Auriga. The geothermal vents had warmed the cave, but out here, the death world's chill still bit at exposed skins. Vor shrieks echoed across the plain, growing louder with each passing moment. Formation, Anna ordered, raising her stun rifle. The Rill warriors slid into a loose line beside her, crystal staffs crackling. Mark and Cole took position near a cluster of obsidian boulders, rigging makeshift tripwires that would trigger flashes of bright light. Tara and Liam readied fungal nets, thin strands that, when electrified, could entangle a Vor's wings. A screech tore through the darkness as the first Vor dove from the sky. Its 6 legs stretched forward, talons aimed for the humans below. Cole triggered the tripwire. A burst of blinding light hit the beast's eyes, sending it veering off course. Anna fired a stun pulse that struck the creature's flank, slowing its dive. 2 Rill warriors advanced, their staffs humming as they struck at its legs. The Vor flailed, screeching in pain, and fell heavily onto the red sands. But dozens more came in waves, dark shapes against the night sky. The Vor circled, then swooped in pairs. Mark pressed a button on his belt pack. The geothermal lamps along the cave mouth flared brighter, illuminating the field. Vor hesitated at the edge of the light, unwilling to advance. Push them into the glare, Anna shouted. The Rill responded, advancing step by step, forcing the Vor toward the lamps. Tara and Liam fired nets, each snaring a winged beast. One Vor crashed into a boulder, stunned. Cole rushed forward with a grounding rod, jabbing at its leg to fully incapacitate it. Suddenly, a massive Vor, its wingspan twice that of the rest, swooped low. Its red eyes locked onto Anna. It dived straight at her. Anna held her rifle steady. At the last moment, she ducked sideways and squeezed the trigger. The stun shot hit the Vor's shoulder. The creature skidded across the sand, talons clawing at the ground. Joran and 2 Rill warriors closed in, their staffs sparking as they pressed the attack. With a final rasping screech, the giant Vor collapsed. As silence fell once more, Anna lowered her rifle. Around her, the team checked for injuries. A few superficial cuts and bruises, but nothing life-threatening. Mark grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. We did it. The Ryle elder Nara stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on Anna's arm. Her crystal staff glowed warmly, a silent salute to bravery and unity. Anna looked across the plain littered with fallen Vor. Thanks to all of us, she said. Humans and Rill. Together, we protect life. A surge of clicking cheers rose from the Rill ranks. The humans returned the gesture with a firm nod and salute. On that bleak scarlet plain, two species had fought side by side, and prevailed. The Deathworld's greatest terror had been driven back by courage, cooperation, and hope. A new alliance. Forged by sunrise, the grotto was warm and bright. The geothermal system hummed softly, and fungus lamps glowed like stars. Anna and her team gathered around a rough stone table, where the Rill elder Nara had spread out alien maps carved into slate. Anna pointed to the planet's center. If we can keep the vents open, she said, we can warm more tunnels and grow plants. She tapped her comm unit and mimed grow by moving her fingers like roots spreading. Nara clicked in agreement and beckoned Joran forward. The young scout traced lines on the map with a thin bone stylus, marking hidden caverns and heat vents. On one side, Nara drew the Rill village, on the other, the Auriga's wreck. Mark studied the slate closely. We need parts from the ship, he said. He sketched a simple drill and pointed toward the hull. And we'll need cables. He mimed twisting wires and held up a coil of rope. Tara tapped her side and pointed at the cave mouth. We clear the Vor nests first, she said. They'll break the pipes. Liam nodded. And we'll need more med gel, in case they fight again. With plans agreed, humans and Rill set to work. A small party led by Cole and Joran carried bundled fungus logs to reinforce the vents. Mark and Anna returned to the ship, stepping over battered metal shards and scorched rock. They pried open an access panel, revealing power cables and storage lockers. Anna handed Mark a data pad. Record what you take, she said firmly. We can't strip their world bare. Mark clicked his tongue in respect and began cataloging parts. Meanwhile, outside the grotto, a dozen Rill warriors and human soldiers moved in tandem. Using fungus scaffolds and human rope, they secured weakened rock faces. Liam and Tara tended to wounded Rill with medgel, while Anna and Nara watched side by side. As they worked, the Vor circled overhead but kept their distance. The Rill's presence gave the humans confidence. The humans' weapons lent the Rill courage. Together, they cleared the last nests before nightfall. Back in the grotto, Mark attached ship cables to the geothermal conduit. Sparks flew, then settled, into a steady glow. Warm steam hissed through the pipes and the lamps brightened. Nara placed a hand on Anna's arm, clicking softly in thanks. Anna returned the gesture. We save your home, she said. You saved ours. The two leaders, one human, one Ryle, stood amid the hum of machinery and the glow of fungus. Around them, their people labored together, building a future neither species could achieve alone. On a world once destined for death, hope had taken root through unity and trust. Hope rekindled night fell as Anna and the Rill finished the final connections on the geothermal generator deep inside the Auriga's engine bay. Steam hissed, pipes glowed orange, and the ground trembled with renewed life. Outside, Liam and Tara reinforced the cave entrance while Cole and Joran kept watch for any remaining Vor. Anna stood beside Mark at the generator's control panel. His fingers flew over alien switches and human buttons. Lights on the display flickered from red to green. It's ready, Mark said, voice tight with hope. Anna nodded and pressed the activation switch. With a roar like a thunderclap, the generator roared to life. Heat surged through the conduits, lighting every fungus lamp in a brilliant glow. The chamber grew warm, the very rock walls steaming with new energy. Suddenly, a chorus of shrieks echoed from outside. Vor poured from the darkness more than ever before, their cries filled with fury. They dove toward the glowing cave mouth, talons outstretched. Anna raised her stun rifle. Hold the line, she yelled. Outside, humans and Rill stood shoulder to shoulder. The reel's crystal staff sparked with charged light. Mark and Cole triggered the conduit bombs, flares that bathed the plane in blinding heat. Tara and Liam hurled fungal nets that ensnared Vor mid-flight, but the creatures pressed on. One massive Vor smashed against the cave entrance, wings, tearing at stone. Joran leaped forward, slashing with a small blade he'd fashioned from ship metal. The beast roared and fell back. Inside, the geothermal generator reached full output. The ground beneath the attacking Vor cracked open in long fissures, spewing hot steam and red glowing magma. The Vor screeched as the heat drove them back into the night. Anna watched from the threshold as the last Vor fled, burned by the sudden surge of the planet's own power. She lowered her rifle and stepped into the warm light of the grotto. Around her, the real warriors and human crew cheered. The biolamp crystals shone brightest they had ever been. Even the delicate bioweepers stirred, their feathery wings fluttering as they absorbed the new life force in the air. Nara approached Anna, staff raised high. With a deep series of clicks, she placed her hand against Anna's heart in a solemn blessing. Anna returned the gesture, pressing her palm to Nara's thin wrist. Outside, dawn broke over a changed world. Steam rose from vents across the plain, turning into mist that glowed gold in the rising sun. Green shoots, once impossible, poked through cracks in the obsidian. Anna stood on a small ridge beside Joran overlooking the settlement. Behind them, humans and Rill worked to expand the warm zones, planting alien spores and human seeds alike. "This world will live," Anna said softly. "Together, we brought hope." Joran clicked his agreement, eyes shining. As the first bird song, new to this death world, echoed across the glowing plains, Anna knew they had done more than survive. They had rekindled hope itself, proving that even on the darkest worlds, life and unity could triumph.